It's widely known that living in Southeast Asia can be extremely affordable. And it's not until you actually live here do you realize how cheap it can truly be. So if you're a digital nomad or if you're someone who's trying to find a change of pace, then Cambodia is going to be a great place for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you our monthly costs and how much we pay to live in Cambodia as American expats. I'll break down the costs for 6 different categories and give you an insight as to how we're getting our money's worth. Let's dive right in. Let's start with the biggest expense, food and beverage. That's going to include our groceries, restaurants, cafes, boba shops, and bars. Now, although there are a lot of food markets nearby, we actually don't spend a lot of money on groceries. However, we do spend about $10 a week on essentials, everything from eggs to bread to fresh fruit. Now, the price can vary quite a bit depending on whether you get them from an air-conditioned supermarket or a wet mart. Personally, I'm still a little nervous about buying from the wet marts, so I just mainly stick to the supermarkets, where I can also grab other household essentials such as laundry detergent or mosquito spray. So 90% of our meals are at restaurants or ordering through a food delivery service. Not only is it easy, but it's also super cheap. Cambodian street food is so widely available that you can find a nice bowl of chicken porridge soup for 5,000 reals or $1.25. But keep in mind, the same dish in a restaurant can also go for $5 a bowl. The more you eat at restaurants, the more expensive it's going to be. You're not necessarily paying for food that tastes better, you're actually paying for the environment. Nicer establishments will oftentimes have more comfortable seating arrangements, they'll have air conditioning and a more relaxed environment where you can sit and hang out with friends. But when we're eating out or ordering in for just the two of us, we can easily find very fulfilling meals for under $2 each. Additionally, we often visit coffee shops, boba joints, and bars in Cambodia. Again, depending on where you're going, coffee shops and bobas can vary anywhere from $2 to $5 a cup. However, beer is super cheap here. You can find them for as little as 50 cents a bottle. All in all, our food expense for the month comes out to $1,040 or $520 per person. We definitely could be spending less in this category by cooking at home, but honestly, it's the one area we didn't want to deprive ourselves from, especially since there's so many great food to eat here. Alright, moving on to the next biggest expense is accommodation. So the area we live in is called BKK1 or Bang Keng Kong Mui, and this area is in the capital city of Phnom Penh. It's grown to be a very popular area among expats due to a large number of Western and diverse Asian restaurants. Not only that, but there are so many grocery markets and cafes and even large malls within walking distance. All the essentials can be found in this area, which makes it very convenient for those living or visiting here. So right now, I'm currently living with my husband in this cute Japanese-inspired studio in BKK1. We found this place using the Facebook group called Phnom Penh Housing. I highly recommend first-timers to check this page out, just so that you can get a better idea of where you might want to stay and even a better understanding of ballpark costs, because one block can vary quite drastically from another block. And we learned that in areas such as BKK1 or Tulko, those places can be quite expensive, but a block over, BKK2 for instance, can have accommodations cheaper by a couple of $100s. What I'm trying to say is, do your research so you know what you're getting yourself into. Also included in our building is a beautiful covered pool area. It's perfect for swimming at any hour of the day, even when it's raining and especially when it's scorching hot outside. We also love just relaxing here and watching the rain from this view. There's also not one but 2 gyms that we use regularly. So if you don't want to have to pay for a gym membership, there are plenty of apartments that offer one as part of your rent. Otherwise, there are fitness studios and gyms nearby, but those can get costly as they can run up to $12 a day. So I recommend finding an apartment that offers both a gym and a pool. Our building has a lot of other cool amenities that I don't often find in other apartment buildings, and you can learn more about them in a previous video where I gave you a complete tour of the room and amenities of my building. So let's talk about cost. To rent the studio, we pay $500 US. Additionally, the electricity and the water bill comes out to about $90 a month, which brings our total to $590 or $295 per person. Now that is super cheap for an apartment with a pool, 2 gyms, great amenities, located in a very popular area of the city. A studio like this back in Southern California could easily cost 10 times as much. Okay, moving on to the next category, transportation. Getting around can be really affordable if you own a motorbike. But if you're moving here and you don't want to buy one, or you're just not comfortable maneuvering through traffic here because honestly intersections are just chaos, then I recommend ride sharing with either the Grab or Pass app, which is going to be your easiest way to hail a tuk-tuk driver to get around the city. Costs will vary depending on how busy it gets. Peak hours here are usually between 4 to 6 p.m. and can cost up to 8,000 reals or more. That's about $2. But we typically try to avoid peak hours and we'll pay 4,000 reals plus maybe 1,000 for tip to get to our destination. So for the month we spend roughly $20 US. But we're gonna tag on $40 for gas because we actually borrowed our cousin's car to get around. So that brings our grand total for transportation this month to $60. Now, I know a lot of people back in the States who can't even fill up their gas tank with that much money. Moving on to one of the cheapest things about Cambodia is the cell phone plan. Back in the United States, unlimited data, text, and call can cost well over $100. Here in Cambodia, we're paying a steep discount for practically the same service. If you use an unlocked smartphone, you can buy a SIM card here and get access to pretty good Wi-Fi. People in Cambodia typically use Telegram or Facebook Messenger to call or to text each other, so people aren't really paying for minutes here. The top 2 phone companies I see around here is Cellcard and Smart. And if you download the app, it's very easy to add more money to your plan, whether you want to top up for 1 week or 3 months. So for us, we paid a total of $12. Next up is health insurance. We pay a total of $1.50 per day per person, or a total of $90 for the month for travel medical insurance through Safety Wing. This is actually our first time buying travel insurance, and we found Safety Wing to be the best bang for our buck. Full disclaimer though, we haven't had to use it yet, so we can't speak to that, but we feel safer knowing we have this insurance with us in case of emergencies while we're living here. We bought the insurance for nomads, which covers medical visits, COVID-related costs, and trip interruption. Feel free to check out the link in the description for more details and to see whether or not it would work for you. Moving on to the last category is the miscellaneous expenses. Pretty much everything else that we can't put in any one of the other categories. These are mostly one-time costs, so we don't anticipate spending this much in future months. But under this category, we put apartment items, massages, self-care, laundry, monetary gifts, tips, and so forth. And we both have gotten massages here as well as haircuts, and they can get cheap, but for someone like me who did not do her research well in advance, I ended up paying $60 for my haircut. My husband, on the other hand, got his cut for $2.50. So what I'm trying to say is, if you do your research and you are able to negotiate, you can definitely get a cheaper price for the service that you want. Finally, we also have a monetary gift section that we budget for when we visit family, when we go to temples, or when we want to make a donation to a nonprofit, which is another great way to just give back to the community here. So all in all, our miscellaneous expenses for the month came out to $360. Alright, so to maintain a comfortable Western lifestyle without compromising accommodation and food, we paid a grand total of $2,235 a month, or roughly $1,118 per person. This is not bad at all compared to how much we were paying to live in the United States. So can you live for this much in your home country? Tell me in the comment section below. I'm super curious. And if you found this video to be helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel because it truly makes my day, and I'll see you in the next video. Akon and Chimdiplia.